Sorry, I didn't miss.
You expecting to show something?
Sure, I can pitch.
Yeah. So,
I'll do a quick-
Pare, just listen. Sorry, sorry. Tātad divi, nav milzīgi daudz, bet nu.
Nu, es nevaru stāstīt, tas izstāstīt tos debesīs.
Tāpēc, so, short introduction for why we're here. Welcome everybody. This is second Find Your Co-Founder meetup. This week is quite quiet actually, and do not expecting a lot of members this week. So probably after Christmas time, January and February meetups will be more larger crowd, and at least critical mass for communications. So for those who don't know me, my name is Rihards Gailums. I'm a technology entrepreneur, and you can find me easily somewhere on the web. So this is actually a format I copy and paste from Silicon Valley meetups. There's very popular so-called co-founder meetups where guys looking for team members in early stage, and so this framework and just copy and paste it and try to build the same events here in Latvia. Since we get several other technical meetups here in Riga, so there's a lot of technical guys who is not actually participating in Tech Hub business style crowd and looking for building the startups, and a lot of them ask me how could I sell my idea, how could I build my startup. So in answer on that, I decided to show a short presentation of half an hour, probably for those who don't know what to do with their idea and how to package it and how to sell it. I hope that will be valuable for you, at least some of you. So little information about other technology meetups, technology entrepreneurship meetups here. So we created the so-called Meetup Network with support of Microsoft, NVIDIA, Udacity, and LGA. And there's a mix of technology and entrepreneurship meetups in order to create some kind of mix and match possibilities for synergy of this meetup group. So we have biotechnology meetup group, monthly meetup group, which it was actually last time it was held here in December, but in January and February there's still two meetups going on. We're talking about everything concerning IT, bioengineering, and other stuff, which is health applications, healthcare, and everything is related on that. IT systems too, which is actually applications and web systems. Then we have UX design meetup, where we are talking about hot things between designers. Then we have one drone meetup for hardware-related stuff with flying machines. Then yesterday we had a mobile application developer meetup where we got a mix actually from engineers and marketing guys, and they are looking for different probably connections to each other. And we're expecting guys who is looking for who want to develop their mobile app idea, just come out and appear in a mobile application meetup and probably find out a coder or team behind them to realize your idea. This is idea startup to IPO or Find Your Co-Founder meetup, as you see. Then we have CUDA parallel programming and then gaming meetup related with technical things like computer vision and computer learning and computer vision, something like that. 3D printing meetup for those who like hardware stuff and would like to print out something. And Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies meetup, which is actually related to the future of the financial system. And Jamie actually is one of the guys who is very technical minded and looking for the business-minded guys to make it one Bitcoin startup. Which seems I'm very lucky about it, because I would like to see more and more Bitcoin startups growing up in Latvia, because it's very exponential technology. A couple of sponsors. So Rihat University is is represented by me today, and we're caring about technology entrepreneurship education and gradually helping build Latvian ecosystem of technology entrepreneurship. We get Microsoft sponsors, so for those startups or members for our group, we could send an invitation and you could get profile in Microsoft BizSpark program. You could receive almost every Microsoft software free of charge, and you could receive the one free of charge, the virtual server Microsoft Azure, which usually costs 120 euros per month, but you could get it for free in almost 1 year long, something like that. And Latvia is guaranteed into caring about cash, some kind of funding for our Meetup group, and that's why you need to fill your signature on the list in order to report them that we're stealing money. So I found out from previous Meetup, we found out a couple of platforms probably could be valuable for you, and there's two platforms, international platforms, global platforms, which is people using for finding co-founders. One is called Founder to Be. It seems a bit some sort of close and not very good design, but you could try it and then find out how it really works. I don't know anybody who have profile on that page. This is actually co-founder lab. As you see, there's a couple of I would say a lot of profiles from Latvia, but I don't like this side, and because when I started to look out how it really works, it not works for projects, it works for people. So if you would like to find somebody, you're more writing about you, but your skills, not about your project. So it seems for me not very applicable for our case, because in such meetups like this, people would like to pitch their idea, probably not sell themselves. But there's promising news from LGA. They start developing one portal for Latvian startups called Labs of Latvia. So it will be released early next year in January, February, or something like that. And we talk with the developers about the idea that we need to implement this portal, some kind of a startup platform in order for finding co-founders. So I don't know if they're going to implement that, but I told about this problem that we need very early stage projects to be possible for them to upload this new portal, and guys who is looking for projects or willing to spend the time found all those projects on our website and join or found a co-founder or something.
Excuse me, but there is already such portal for Latvian startups, like Latvian startup database, like the TechCrunch. TechCrunch. Startup Hunt.
Yeah,
where they also search if you if the startup are interested for a co-founder, for funding, for whatever they need to, they can send it to Startup Hunt people, and they will most definitely post it.
Did you develop some kind of section for the database, or?
Well, it's like a database. Underneath there should be some rating. You see, there is stars. It's rating Latvian startups, top Latvian startups for now.
Yeah.
Well, they have some startups are sending them their information.
So first rated is Manchester. I didn't hear about them before. Okay.
Well, it's something like that. Maybe not actually. But there is someone most definitely who's capturing information about Latvian startups.
Yeah, I know about them. I hope that they could. But I didn't find before that there's really mix and match some sort of platform, because it's more like informational database, and those platforms who is mixing and matching, it should be built a little bit differently in order to bring a message to those who are registered on the database as job seekers or team members. It's not so easy. Then you do every time you should go to the website and searching for opportunities, not to receive notifications. I know. I probably. I hope that those guys will code something valuable for this particular operations, and let's see how it goes. So yeah, today for speaking, the only speaker actually is me, and yeah, I think that I get one presentation prepared for Latvian university students who is learning entrepreneurship, and other things actually came out from previous meetups. Technical guys asking me what could I do with my idea. And there's a lot of things I think that probably could learn from this American style presentation. So starting from, I take some kind of 20 minutes, 30 minutes to explain everything. So in short words about me, this is a nice picture from California when we opened some 3 years ago, Latin American Business Association in California office in Sunnyvale. At that time I decided to run this LABACA called Latvian American Founded Business Association of California in order to bring Latvian startups in Silicon Valley. And this is one of my NGO experiences. I got a couple of startups like eTag, Veritweet, and most time-consuming now is NGO called Rīgājas University when we developing those kind of ecosystem building activities here in Latvia. So this is for very good sentence for those who would like to be entrepreneurs. So from definitions, not everybody could be an entrepreneur. Only 1%, 10% from 100 is got skill set and some drive to be an entrepreneur. And this is my best definition for them. So if you are an entrepreneur, so by definition you should walk through the walls, and when you start thinking about entrepreneurship at all, you just try to think about is it really for you? Because some stories, some good stories from success stories seems that success comes very easy, but it's in real life it's not really so. So, and how to sell your idea? There's mentions a couple of stakeholders actually who are involved in this process. So at the very beginning you should sell this idea to yourself, to understand what you're doing, why you're doing, just answering those simple questions for yourself. Then next critical point is attract team, because if you're talking about technology startups, you couldn't afford to hire people from day one. So and mostly case you couldn't done all kind of job by yourself. So you need somebody who would join you as a team and don't ask for the money for that. It's probably the hardest thing at the very beginning, to sell the idea to early team members. Then the clients, customers, users who you could convince that your idea is valuable to be paid by the dollars or another currency. And then investors if you're looking for exponential growth. So idea should be explained and explain it for yourself. So very early ideas probably is not very good for other guys or crowd to be explained and understandable. So there's a good saying for that try to sell your idea to your wife or spouse, and if she understood what you're going to do, so probably you will succeed. If it's really technically a hard topic, especially. And Americans say that ideas should not be explained, but ideas should be sold. So just not explaining your ideas, but sell them to the guys who is listening to you. And I'm more this American or Silicon Valley pitching style supporter, not the European style. So that's probably you will see from my own presentation. And business idea versus execution. So there's a lot of guys who are thinking that their idea is very unique. I will not tell everybody this idea, and I will succeed in this case, and I will not be stolen from other guys. And lately this so-called open innovation term is, I think, started also in Silicon Valley. That at least as far as I know, that if your idea is not worth, if your idea could be easily stolen, so probably it's not worth to develop because if it's only an idea, that's probably you will not succeed. So, as a conclusion, the execution is all the time is more important than the business idea. So, and for example, there's a historical fact about father of electricity that two big guys invented several things all at the same time. They called Tesla and Thomas Edison. The boss was really smart guys and find out what electricity was. But actually, Edison simply figured out how to sell this light bulb. And this is actually the story about execution. It's not about idea, because idea to invent electricity is a great thing, is good, but how to sell and execute this idea probably is a question of success. So a couple of words of, I don't know, probably you have heard about lean startup methodology, especially business-minded people, but technical-minded people sometimes didn't know what it is. And this is actually methodology invented, I don't know, or propagated by Eric Ries, which actually is promoting very effectively this methodology. And one of the father was this guy, Steve Blank from Stanford University, which called this so-called lean launchpad class, and started Stanford University some kind of 4 years ago. And there's some kind of sentence actually which is important to understand, that business plans are historical artifacts, and this is actually for those who for those technical startups actually versus small and medium companies which are operating in markets. There's a big difference. I mean that technology startups are not the same as a coffee shop on the corner, and they, for example, the main difference that they can write those 5 years financial plan forecasts for themselves, because they even don't know what will be after half a year or 1 year, and that's why it's almost impossible to make those business plans, which are required usually in Europe by the venture capitalists or banks. And that's why if you are building technology startups, so you don't need to write business plan, at least if you don't like to take money from institutional, some kind of funds and bankers, which actually is not the smartest and smart money, some kind of source for you, and not very valuable for technology startups. So the only way how to build some sort of business plan is called business model, and this is one of the core some kind of cornerstones of lean startup. And the business model is built around the minimal viable product, so-called. I mean the version of new product which allows the team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the less effort. In other words, saying that you need to develop your prototype very effective or very lean way, and collect as much feedback from your customers as possible in order to understand if this your idea or your product is valuable for something. And that's my favorite case story about AirDog, which is actually performing this MVP in a quite different way. They developed this prototype called self-following this drone prototype, and decided not to raise funding from ordinary venture capitals, which actually at that time were ready to give at least $500,000 to guys to launch the product, but they decided to do a different way, to look for the customer some kind of acceptance of this stuff, and launched this Kickstarter campaign. I would say very successfully, and the reason for doing that, they just like to show their prospective investors that almost 2,000 people paying their money for product which actually will be delivered sometime. It means that they created some kind of value which could be turned to the real money, and this is the reason. Yeah, this is some kind of way how they're trying to attract customers, venture capitalists, in order to invest in this company. And the second case study is a book, actually a book for sculptors. Those are also Latvian guys. One is Sandis Konrads, living in Seattle, Washington, and they decided to write a book how to make sculptures. And how they start? They start with community building on Facebook. So we created some kind of interest group or something like that. And after we start talking about this industry professionals, that there's one need for which is actually is required for everybody, that there's no book on shelves on markets. This what could be used in teaching or learning how to build body sculptures. And they grow this group to 50,000 members or likes, let's say. And after that, they decided they really need to build to print out this book. And first buyers of Kickstarter campaign was those 50,000 Facebook followers, which actually is gathered together in the previous half year. This is also how people try to test their idea before spending money and effort on that, and building some not things which is not required by anyone. So this is actually the picture of business model canvas. This is how company creates value for itself, well, by delivering products or services to the customers. And 9 important components for that is key partners, key activities, key resources, value propositions, customer relationships, channels, customer segments, revenue streams, and cost structure. There's good instructions how to build all kind of things, but I could just skip through the most important parts to understand why you should do this before to trying to sell your idea. So most value part is value proposition. So just try to answer for yourself. What are you building and for who? And this is very incremental, very important question and answer for yourself, because most of the people couldn't answer, couldn't pack your idea in simple one sentence, in simple words. And I know from my experience that one project we could try to pack in this sentence some 10 times different ways, and only that you find out you could explain in one sentence what you're really doing, then probably it's worth to go further to sell this idea to other one. So this is a nice picture. The definition value proposition is a promise or value to be delivered and acknowledged, and belief from the customer that value will be appealed and experienced. In other words, you should test somehow that this value, which is you think is value for you, will be same value for customers, and they will be ready to pay you money for that. And there's some key points about key questions about value proposition. So problem statement, simply point out what is problem. And this is actually Silicon Valley investor pitch, some hard points that most European startups can't answer what the problem what problem they are dealing with that, because they're starting with a product, some kind of description, presentation, but not with a problem. But try just for yourself to define one simple question, the problem definition. Then ecosystem, for whom is this relevant? So is this market big, large, small? So just define for yourself and for your prospective listeners or those who would like to come in. Competition, what do customers do today? Because mostly there's the answer that there's no decisions, solutions like this. There's no competition at all. But if, from my experience, that if you say that it means that you didn't search hard enough to find out, because there's always some kind of experience of competition, or at least substitutes for that. Technology marketing side, why is this problem so hard to solve before you came out that this is a problem? So why you were first one? So just simply answer for yourself. Market size, how big is this problem? So yeah, so is this only one small, maybe you and 10 other people, so probably it's not worth to develop this problem, this solution at all. Product, how do you do it? Yeah. And only this product statement is at the very end, so just answer what you are going to build or do in answer for those problems and other stuff. Value proposition is common mistakes. So it's too big or amorphous, so it means that it's not, you're trying to make a better world in every way, but not in one exact way, so it's a huge problem for startups. It's a huge mistake for startups. Yeah, it's just a feature of someone else's product. So if you're just trying to improve some existing products, so probably the producer of existing product will add this feature in the nearest time, and probably you will fake it. The question is rising now with Erdo guys, because at the very beginning they said, okay, we will make drone for especially for GoPro cameras. And yesterday at Drone Meetup, Edgar said that eventually GoPro guys decided to build drone themselves. So this is quite tricky to fake all kind of business model that you're expecting from the beginning. Then it's nice to have instead of got to have. So it's only not painkillers but vitamins you're solving. So people are not ready to pay money for that. They just they need to be convinced very hard. Not enough customers care, so probably you and your 5 friends probably care, and the rest of the world don't care about it. This is a exact case like 5 years ago. We drive on. It was my startup, went to the Silicon Valley and tried to sell smart cards. Smart card authentication solutions, and then we understood that Americans simply don't like smart cards at all, because the whole banking industry relies on magnetic stripe cards. And then only recently they start to make these chips and something like that. Avoid building products nobody wants. This is a huge mistake. There are a lot of guys who spend a lot of money in building products which is actually not required by anyone. And maximize learning per time spent. Yeah, and this is just think about yourself. Are you going to make painkillers or vitamins from your product? So it means it's not I wouldn't say that there's no need for vitamins, but painkillers will be more easily to be sold to somebody, because the need is already, and they're ready to pay real money to solve their problems. And for vitamins, this is just harder to convince that people could make this buying decision right now for your product. There's a couple of slides about storytelling for entrepreneurs. So this is one part of the presentation structure, and it came out from classical story structure, which is actually first described by Aristotle very lot of time ago. And story must have beginning, middle, and end. It's quite simple. And storytelling presentation structure from that is in 3 parts. So at the very first part, you need to confront a problem that initiates a search or to define a business model. Then you iterate to resolve obstacles that confront the model. And at the very last part, you evolve strategy, execute, and succeed or fail. It means that you could turn that
the previous session and they continue.
Alright guys, I'll go ahead and get started. So I'm Jamie. My startup is called Coin Anchor, at least for right now. And what I really want to do is make using Bitcoin, holding Bitcoin, less risky. So first I'll start with regular money. People want to have a lot of it. Why is it useful though? Something a lot of people don't really stop to think about. Well, it's useful because it holds its value over time. You go to the store, you can buy the same amount of groceries with 20 euro today that you can tomorrow, that you can next week. And Bitcoin isn't like that. It moves all over the place. They say it's a new currency, but it looks more like the ruble in this graph, right? Because the value goes all over the place. So that's the problem, and that's what I want to help solve for consumers. And the idea is to make it effectively flat, so that you're not exposed to changes in prices for Bitcoin. So, call it anchoring. You anchor your wallet, and the way that I do this is through a hedge. There's an exchange that I built, and it helps you transfer the risk of your Bitcoins to other people who want it, people who are speculating, people who are trading. So there's a trading interface, and there's also a hedging interface. So if you're just a user of Bitcoins, you can have 100 euro worth of Bitcoin, as opposed to having to check and see how much the Bitcoin you have are worth it every single day, and have that number move around a lot. If you have 100 euro worth of Bitcoin, no matter how many Bitcoins it is, you have the same value. And there's some cool animations that show when you get new Bitcoins into your wallet, they automatically get hedged, and the risk gets sent out to the exchange. And the reverse is true too. So if you spend the Bitcoins in your wallet, the hedge gets adjusted for that as well. So you're basically using Bitcoins, but you always have the same amount of euro or US dollar worth of it. So you can just think in terms of that. So what's the point? Bitcoin has a really cool payment system. Everyone knows that, who's into Bitcoin. It's basically free. You don't have to pay the 2 to 3% that credit card transactions cost. So you have all of that ease of instant payments and free transfers of money, but without the volatility associated with actually holding Bitcoin. And I do all this without using any money at all, so you don't need to give your bank account details. It's all using Bitcoin in and Bitcoin out. So your value is preserved through having more Bitcoins or less Bitcoins, depending on the value of US dollar or euro. So just a little bit about the business model. There are sort of competing platforms out there. Coinbase is one of them. They do this only in the merchant space, and they charge between 0.5% and 1%. They process $1 billion US in payments annually, so they're absolutely huge. There's a big market for this. And it's not all buying new armor for your elf on World of Warcraft. You can buy a lot of different stuff with Bitcoin these days. It's becoming more and more popular. You can buy fine wines and cheeses. You can even buy a luxury automobile. This is a real advertisement. I pulled this photo from someone who is selling their Mercedes for a certain amount of Bitcoin. A lot more than I have. So just some background about me. I used to work, I'm from the financial community in Manhattan. I worked for JP Chase on a couple of different occasions, MBA from NYU. I'm a Python developer, but I need more help with the development side. And this company, you probably never heard of, but they're a credit derivatives interdealer broker. So this is not my first credit derivatives platform that I've created. I basically took what they were doing with credit default swaps, and I built it for Bitcoin. So this is what I need, what I'm looking for. I do need another Python developer, someone to help code with me. These are some of the technologies that I use. I'm also looking for user interface, someone who's good with JavaScript. I like Knockout.js, so if that's you, let's talk. Someone who's got a good eye for design. If I show you my interface, you'll see exactly why I need a design guy, because it looks like crap. But I need someone with a little bit of artistic bent, and also marketing and branding. So that's what I'm looking for. But this is a big problem. People don't adopt Bitcoin. in part because of the risk. And so if there is a way to take that away from having and using Bitcoin, you've got a whole market of people who aren't interested today but would be interested with this. And just to touch on a couple other points that Richard's brought up in his presentation, there are other competitors out there that are doing similar things. Like I mentioned, Coinbase does this for merchants, but not for average user. There are some other startups that are coming online that are looking to do this, but they're kind of like in a slightly different positioning. They're looking for people who have a lot of Bitcoins. They're using some crazy multi-signature stuff. But as far as I can find out, there's really no one who's doing this with derivatives in the way that you can still hold on to your Bitcoins, spend them, use them, deposit more, have your Bitcoins in your own wallet on your own computer, but still have that security that they're not going to lose their value over time. Okay, so that's it.
So how much are you using Bitcoins?
Well, I was in the cryptocurrency once, but I tried like 20 or something of them, like Asia coin, Dutch coin, but many, I said like a couple of 100,000 of cryptocurrencies, but it's like small, not Bitcoin. Because when I started, Bitcoin was costing one Bitcoin was 100,000 euros. So now it's quite a lot. So I dropped about all those ideas. And also I traded Forex a bit.
So what could convince you to use a service like CoinAnswer?
Excuse me?
What could convince you to use a service like CoinAnswer?
Oh, I like the idea actually because of hedge funds. That's actually promising if you know what hedge fund is. But I don't know. Bitcoin actually kind of lost not an interest but trust for me because it's still falling in its price. And I kind of think it was a hype and now it's like downfall. I don't know. How do you think about it, by the way? Because
I think the idea is here to stay, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's going to be Bitcoin or one of these other currencies or whatever the case, but the idea of having cryptographic money is not going to go away. And Bitcoin is probably going to be around for a long time. But what I do think is I think that it got popular and it got hyped and people bought into it just because they thought the price was going up, not because they really saw the utility of what it provides. And all those people who thought they were going to make a bunch of money and lost a bunch of money, they got disinterested and people kind of shun it for a while. But it'll come back. It's just like the housing market, in the US. Like there's an underlying utility there, which is free instant payments. And that's a big need. And that's not going to change.
Well, that's really awesome that you don't have to do with the banks or governments or whatever while you use Bitcoins. But otherwise, if you have, advanced Apple Pay, you can do it fastly with mobile phone and your mobile app. Well, yeah, I think that only advantages is you don't have to deal with any banks. And Latvian government and the other government doesn't see what you buy, where you buy, and why you buy.
Yeah, and I think there's that. The other thing that's really interesting is international payments. So
they're super fast.
If you don't want to deal with a bank and them clipping you for 4 or 5% plus a $25 wire charge or whatever the case may be for an international transfer and waiting for 4 days, Bitcoin is an easy way to do that. But you have to have people on both ends that are willing to exchange in Bitcoin. And they can't really do that if they don't know whether or not the value is going to be there when it arrives or what it's going to be worth the next day. So one of the things that I think this would be a really interesting solution for is a replacement for international wires. Because you could send Bitcoin out of your wallet, which is hedged in US dollars from the United States. You could send it to someone who would basically, their wallet would be hedged in euros. You've just effectively done a US dollar to euro exchange, currency exchange, with an international, irreversible, instant transfer of money for whatever amount. So I think that's a really interesting use case.
So what could be the past of the market and use scenarios? For example, these guys just have Bitcoin wallet and how people start to use, how we could know about CoinAnswer what is the need to use that and how it could start to use.
So a customer, when they come to the website, and this is still under development, this is part of what I need
So
some
but
help
first
with.
he should need some clarification to go to this website. So
Yeah.
how this is going to build this intention. So how?
So I mean, you know, publicity is essentially free in the Bitcoin world. You go on forums and you know you get people to use it, and people start talking about it. If you have a halfway decent idea, people will talk about it.
Okay.
So that's one of the big things. As far as the customer experience, they come online. They have to have a wallet. Right now, they have to have a wallet of a certain type. It's called a deterministic wallet, the details of which I won't go into. But you have to have a wallet that you can give a public key to CoinAnchor, and then we'll take it. We can't spend any money out of it, but we can monitor how much Bitcoins are in the wallet. We can only see the balance. We can't make any transactions. And we just monitor it. And you deposit some margin with us to cover the cost of your trades and of the hedging. And as long as the amount that you have deposited with us is enough to do the trades that you need to do, we'll just do them automatically for you. So you deposit some extra Bitcoin, we'll put some extra hedge on. You spend some Bitcoin, take them out, we'll take some of the hedge off. We just do that all automatically for the customer. So when they come back to their wallet in 2 months or 3 months, the value might be different, but they've still got enough Bitcoins to have their original amount of money that they had.
Do you have prototype already, which is actually working? You showed last time.
Yeah, I can show prototype real quick. What I have right now is the trading interface. I'm still working on the user interface for the customers for the hedging part. But essentially, I'll try to blow this up a little bit. All right. So here goes. You know, you put in the price, and this is basically. There we go. So this is what a trader would do. You know, they come in, they want to buy some derivatives, some contracts. What this is basically saying is this is the price in US dollar versus Bitcoin, and each contract is worth 10 US dollar worth of Bitcoin. So if I'm buying 10 of them, I'm buying $100 worth of Bitcoin at $364 dollars per Bitcoin. So I buy, it matches off against this guy, and you can see the size there went down. I've got a trade down here. I bought 10 of them, paid a fee. That one matched immediately because there was an order in there, but I just put them in there. These are more orders. Delete them. This is all done in Knockout. It's just a JSON API over WebSockets. Cancel them. Keeps track of the margin. This is how much they deposited. This is how much of it's used for their open positions. So, you know, it keeps track of it. You put an order in, it claims a little bit of margin to cover that trade. That's basically that. I don't have any test data in euro, but it just switches around.
What happens when Bitcoin, like, you said like the one Bitcoin versus euro dollar line, straight down. What happens when it like really goes off Bitcoin price versus dollar or really falls?
Well, so here's the thing, right? And actually I have a slide, I'm just gonna.
Because you know, I have traded stocks, of course, that don't have like experience with hedge funds, or like little knowledge of that. So I'm curious what happens if I don't know, anchor my Bitcoin. One Bitcoin is $100, and at the same time, at the market, it claims up to again $1,000 for one Bitcoin.
So if you bought a Bitcoin and it was $100 per Bitcoin, so you basically have $100,
Yeah.
right? And if the price goes up, you're still going to have $100 worth of Bitcoin. So that means you're going to have a lot less Bitcoin, right? So the Bitcoins that you leave in your wallet, you basically have your Bitcoins in two places. You have some in your wallet which you keep, right, and some that you deposit on CoinAnchor to cover the cost of the trading. And then the whole amount is hedged together, the total, right? So if the price goes up and you're hedged, you're still going to have coins in your wallet, which are going to be worth more, but you're going to lose the coins that you have deposited at CoinAnchor, and those are going to be transferred to someone else who's bought, right? So you basically sold on CoinAnchor, and the price went up, so you lost money, you lost your Bitcoins, and whoever bought them from you, they get those Bitcoins.
So that's like basically buying shares and bonds.
Yeah, well, it's really more like a credit swap, like a credit derivative. Like it's a side bet, on the price of Bitcoin. So if you have them, if you own them, you're going to make money if the price goes up, right? And you're going to lose money if the price goes down. So you do another transaction which offsets that.
Yeah, but if you think financially, if you invest in one Bitcoin, let's say you bought it for $100, and the price goes up, that means that you lost money if you have that one Bitcoin in your CoinAnchor.
Yeah, if you've hedged it, you've lost money on your hedge, but you've gained money on the Bitcoins that you kept in your wallet, and those will offset each other. So at the end of the day, you'll still have your €100 worth. You'll still have the same value. And the same thing happens if the price goes down, right? Because you don't know whether it's going to go up or down. It can go either way. So if the price goes down, the Bitcoins you have in your wallet are worth less, but on CoinAnchor, you have a bunch more Bitcoins to like make up for what you've lost. So if the price goes down by 50%, you had one Bitcoin, and it was worth €100, now it's only worth €50. You're going to still have your €1, your one Bitcoin in your wallet, but now you're going to have an extra Bitcoin on CoinAnchor to make up for the fact that the price has gone down.
You know, I understand the idea of minimalizing the risk, but still, in my opinion, Bitcoin nowadays works like a company. It's like coins are shares and bonds, similar like that, because people really earn money when Bitcoin value raised hard. I don't know, 2013 it wasn't. And now it's just really falling and everyone is losing money. So anyway, I don't know how to explain it actually, my thought, because I don't see the difference from Bitcoin and companies, how do you call them?
Like a stock?
No, stock companies.
I mean, a stock in a company is a tiny ownership interest. You literally own part of that company, right? With Bitcoin, the only thing you own is the right to spend it to someone else who's willing to take it, right? So it only has a value as long as other people are willing to pay something for that right to get it from you, right? So if you have Bitcoin, you literally have a key, a cryptographic key that allows you to spend it. That's the only thing you have. And if someone's willing to pay you for that, or send you something over the internet, some shares, or a download, or new armor for your elf, then it's worth something. If that ceases to be the case, if people say, I'm not going to give anything for it, then it becomes worthless. It's just a key. It's just a cryptographic key. So it's a little bit different. There's no legal underpinning for Bitcoin, where like a stock is, you have a legal right in whatever country that company is incorporated in. And so there's some differences.
Any more questions for Jim?
So maybe then you could answer those two last questions, because
Yeah.
three first you only answer.
Right. So I'm looking for I mentioned who I was looking for. I'm looking for partnership at this point. everything that I have done so far, I've done on my own for free using open source software. I don't have any money in it. I don't have any money to pay you, but I'm looking for, I'm looking for partners. So it's equity upside, for helping me build the business. And I think people should join because I think it's a really interesting idea. I think there's some heavy hitters out there that have made a lot of money doing this, and I think it's the type of idea that could go a long way if we get in front of the right people. Richard's mentioned Silicon Valley, like they're throwing millions and millions of dollars at Bitcoin companies to do startups. In this type of, for this type of idea in this type of space, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I've got the background, I can talk to these people. But it can't be just me. Like I need more people and put the right team in front of the investors.
So you're some kind of milestone is to build some kind of prototype which is working and good looking. Then start to attract somehow your first users, or you before that looking for some kind of investment in that, or you just.
I don't think, I don't think I need investment to put out a minimum viable product. I really don't think so. It's definitely going to take longer if I have to do it all myself. I will eventually get there, but I kind of want to get this going because I do see other startups in this space that they're doing not exactly the same, but similar things. I think the time for the idea is now, and with the right team, with a couple people working on it, we could get this out there, get a minimal viable product out. Probably what would end up happening is I'd look to get into an accelerator of some sort, and then maybe get some seed funding out of that, or and just build it from there.
So you're looking mostly for two people more. One is designer, some kind of UI UX designer, and probably the next is some business developer, how to say, growth hacker or something, who caring about pushing this product to the market. So doing team free seems quite enough for the building everything for that. And what's actually is founding possibilities for Bitcoin related startups here? And if you're looking for this perspective, have you searching for available funds in near some kind of regions, not only for Silicon Valley, because there is at least one incubator or accelerator from this Aidan Draper who is accepting startups only Bitcoin related startups, and there's actually big selection tender for those startups, and you can be lucky if you got there. But there's a couple of something like accelerators going for Bitcoin, startups going around in Europe. Have you heard about it?
No, I don't. I mean, I'd love to hear more about that.
Because there's some kind of, since the following the Bitcoin investment, some kind of news, there's some kind of news that in Sweden or in England, I forgot, that there's some kind of larger ecosystem who is ready to invest in Bitcoin, like to start in Bitcoins. It's not ordinary money, but the same story as Ethereum made this IPO, because they just made IPO very untraditionally based in Bitcoins and already raised some 20 million.
I'm actually really interested in that because I think getting funding in a way like that would actually be more ideal for a concept like this, for two reasons. One, I'm basically selling derivatives to people with no regulatory oversight. So I don't think there's any reason why I can't do it. There's other companies that have done similar trading platforms who have done similar sorts of things, right? And they haven't been shut down. Nobody's told them they can't do it yet. It's really still a very unregulated space, but the concern is for a Silicon Valley investor who wants to have a Delaware corporation and wants to invest in something that's they don't want to have regulatory issues. So it might be a turnoff for them. They might be less interested in that, at least initially, until you have enough momentum that they know you're going to be able to afford good enough lawyers to get yourself out of trouble. So I think that's definitely a possibility, a way to kind of bootstrap this. So maybe I'll do some more research.
My second question about technical some kind of stuff. So did you build this only for Bitcoin, or it could be used on other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin?
It could be used for
Or you should
Pretty
reprogram?
much anything. And I've actually talked with, just this last week, I talked with the CEO of a company called SnapSwap. They're a Ripple gateway. So Ripple is another cryptocurrency, and he wants to build a, he wants to build a trading platform for his concept. So I'm in talks with him. He's evaluating my platform right now. So that could potentially result in a partnership, which is a totally different cryptocurrency. And how much of it would be applicable and how much of it would be, have to be changed, I have no idea yet. It just depends on what their backend looks like. But it's a general purpose trading engine. So you could use it to trade dilithium crystals or wheat or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's trades.
Do you consider to make it open source?
If I can't figure out another way to make money off, if I decide I don't want to try and make money licensing it, then yes. But I know a lot of guys in financial technology who have made a lot of money licensing libraries that are no better than the one that I built. So that's also another possibility. That's actually another possible revenue stream, is to license this. JP Morgan, while I was there, they had a training platform to teach traders how to trade. And all it did was pipe in fake data, and they would sit there and they would trade, and they would have to learn how to, bid and offer and sell and react to news. And they had this thing. They probably paid $4,500 a year for the licensing for it. So there's possibilities to license this in other use cases. So those are other monetization possibilities.
I just thinking, did you heard about this Bitcoin project, which is actually allows you to create your own cryptocurrency? No?
No.
It's very interesting because I'm curious about their business model, and they simply make this open source kind of project, which is actually a coding platform how to automatically create your own crypto wallet, let's say. But they made it free of charge, so you could only just you could make your cryptocurrency in minutes. Like just name it, and then they send you, they generate this wallet, send you, and you just start to distribute them. And they earn on only tiny part of this whole network, some kind of some transaction fees or something like that, which is distributed. So probably this exchange model, maybe it could be cloned this way, that it could be applied to every cryptocurrency somehow, if somebody would like to. But you could receive some kind of shares on that. I don't know if it's technically possible. Let's say, I don't know, a web page for create a exchange for that currency.
Yeah.
So guys can make their branding, and they do whatever they can, but you could stay on source code part and just clone for every cryptocurrency some different stack of source of code.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to do that without handling real money. But I mean, I suppose you could always do it as an exchange between this crypto, whatever their new cryptocurrency is, and something else, like Bitcoin or Litecoin or some other type of established, cryptocurrency. Maybe that would be possible. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
Maybe it's not very complicated to change this cryptocurrency type inside the system. If you call, if you
no, I mean putting in a new thing that you can trade into this is literally like a configuration issue.
Right.
I just write the new configuration file. It's a couple lines. Right. So that part is really easy. But what's difficult is when if you actually have to perform transactions on a different cryptocurrency. So this one, it can accept bitcoins, it can send transactions in bitcoins. Actually, I do that manually, but then you would have to be aware of transactions from a different sort of cryptocurrency network. So I'd have to look in and see how difficult that would be.
And how about this Ethereum integration? Is it what about smart contracts and other stuff that created that you look through? Is it applicable to there? Maybe you could pack it as one open contract, some kind of project, and sell to the Ethereum community as a value-added product, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
they're using different stack.
well, they're doing like